Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Workforce Whispers with Lauren and Ebony. We are coming back at you, diving into the depths of the snark and sass that the internet really just like ignites in us. It's not our fault. It's what the internet says. We're just responding to it. We're digging into some subreddits around questions at work and giving our take as to MCC coaches and leadership development experts. So, you can get all the expert advice in like less than 10 minutes. Who wouldn't want that, right? So today, the topic that we're going to cover is all about returning to work etiquette. And I think it's relevant and we're going to dive into it. So are you ready?
I am ready because I have thoughts.
I know you have thoughts. I have thoughts too. Okay, here we go. Is it just me, or since the pandemic and the return to office / hybrid, work etiquette and morale has gone down? My company has been hybrid prior to the pandemic, flexible hours, lunch allowances, etc. But I noticed people are a lot colder in the office these days. Now that we have mandated office days, i.e. physically pushing others to get onto the elevator, no eye contact, not greeting people, no use of headphones for work calls, more interdepartment drama, etc. I'm curious if anyone has noticed a change in their office's work culture and any conclusions as to why. Ebony, I want to hear your thoughts.
People were raised in barns by wolves during the pandemic. That's my thoughts. And by the way, it's not just at work. I see them at the Starbucks, the grocery store. What happened to? I've said it before. I'll say it again. Sometimes humans aren't very humane to each other. We need a humane society for humans. And so, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So, yes, and they may not want to be there. Right. And so they're trying to not build close relationships. They just want to get in and get out and go back to the pleasantness. A lot of people, those who may not be in a community or the mainstream culture of your company, enjoyed being at home. They didn't get microaggressions. They didn't have to explain why they need to go and maybe pump, right? Because they have a baby and they need to be in a lactation room, or explain other things that they want to do. Or maybe they are used to having their emotional support animal and you don't have a friendly office space, right? And so they can just have their dog or their cat on their lap at home, because I know somebody else who has a dog on their lap right now. And nobody knows. Look, I've been in many meetings. I'm like, who else has somebody on your lap? People would hold up babies, dogs,
Cheetos,
like chips off camera. I got chips off camera, whatever. So I think it's one, resilience is low in the serious coaching. Resilience is low and people feel stretched and thin and they just don't have a lot more to offer. They are there to go through these office hour days, and maybe they haven't yet made the shift of there are benefits to being in the office that can help your career as well. And what are those things? And once they get explicit about it, they can see the benefit of seeing people 2 or 3 days a week or whatever your return to work policy is. So that's my response. What do you think, Lauren?
Yeah, I was talking about this like last November. I did an executive forum about like productivity, and it ended up being about this very topic of not just people with bad manners, but people who were like over accommodating. Like that whole middle ground of like boundaries and manners was replaced by either like aggression and attitude or like complete people pleasing and backbending. So we've kind of lost that fluctuation of emotional range of self-regulation in the office because we're afraid. Like 3 years of trauma, and let's be honest, most companies never recognize what people experience, what they themselves experienced. So there's this like, we know what happened, but we're not going to acknowledge it and carry on as if everything's normal. And nothing is normal. People have been under insane amounts of pressure and trauma and have seen things and experienced things that they've never done before. But to not acknowledge it is really what's compounding these feelings of being unheard and unrecognized, which are like leading to these microaggressions, and I'll say macroaggressions. Like some people are just all and out rude because they don't feel seen and heard. That's where this comes from. People don't act like that when they feel like they're recognized and validated. So, you know, take care of yourself, take care of your people. But the big thing is like, it's not a place to judge, but a place to understand of like, what might this person have experienced that's leading them to feel this way? And hopefully companies can start having these honest conversations or bring in people like us who can facilitate them, because that's really what's needed at this point.
And I would say this to this particular opinion writer, don't take it personally.
No.
Whatever you do, don't carry that onto the rest of your day. Just understand that you may be vibrating higher than they currently are, to give you a bit of an esoteric response. Don't take it on as something personal for you. Realize you may be vibrating higher, and don't take on the energetic output of these other people that have forgotten what common courtesy looks like.
Yeah. And also be the change you want to see. Like when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, go high, but also don't expect them to be at your level, because they're just not there.
And when you get tired of going high, then you need to say something.
Yeah, you can say something. It's all good. Well, I think that this was a very valuable and relevant topic. And we'll see you next time for another episode of Workforce Whispers with Lauren and Ebony.